finally left Istanbul. After what was originally going to be just 4 nights, I ended up staying 13. 13? No, it's more than that, 17. I'm now in a city called Bursa. I didn't do a great deal yesterday. I just basically went out for food and had a few drinks. But I did notice some obvious differences between Istanbul and Bursa, not just the size. First of all, there are hardly any bars. I really struggled to find a decent place to just go and get a drink. After I'd been for a few beers, I went to get some food, and my plan was to then find a shop, grab some beers and go back to the hotel and chill out. There's no alcohol available anywhere in any of the shops. I was walking around for about half an hour around here last night. I think I probably came to this place here. You just can't buy it. So we're definitely in a much less touristy place than Istanbul. Now there's only 2 things I know about Bursa. One is that it's the home of the Iskender kebab. And 2, it's also home to the world's longest cable car. So let's go and explore the city of Bursa. This is one of the main roads that run through the city centre of Bursa. Check out the lovely fountain. Nice shot of the mountains that surround Bursa there, with the mosque. Don't know who this is. This looks like an interesting area that I might have to come and explore, but I have just seen somewhere down here the word espresso. Espressonist. So looks like I might be in business. Yeah, it's okay. I think I'm going to have to change my coffee drinking habits and start drinking the Turkish coffee, because so far the Americano's not been that great in Turkey. I've got 2 days in Bursa and I think that should be plenty enough. Today I'm just going to wander around the city using basically just a few things I'd saved to my maps. Nothing of massive interest, but it will get me back to the city. The stuff I'll find will probably be more interesting than the things I've saved, hopefully. That's the coffee done. Time to move on. Now just over here, I did spot that they do Italian sodas. Now I've not had an Italian soda since Thailand. It was my favourite drink. Right, the Italian soda. The blue, this one? Have it? Yeah? Yeah. So an Italian soda. It said 13 or 15. He charged me 15. Apparently because it had extra what? I don't know. I'm guessing the blue soda at the bottom. Right, let's give it a go. Okay, that's pretty good. That's not as good as the ones in Thailand, but that'll certainly wake me up. Well, if I needed any confirmation that this place doesn't really get that many tourists, then what's just happened has pretty much confirmed my theory. I was walking down the street, which looks like it's full of bars at night. Everything was closed now. And I saw the cute little cafe, so I took a photo of that and filmed it. And I reached a synagogue. I was going to film the synagogue, but to be honest, it wasn't really anything to look at. So I was just on my phone, and someone started approaching me and walked right up to me. And so I looked at him and said hello, and he then showed me his police badge. And he wanted to see my passport, which luckily I actually put in my bag this morning. I asked him what the problem was, and he showed me his police badge again. Could have been a fake, I don't know. And so I got my passport out, and he held his hand out, and I said, no, I'll hold it and I'll show it you. Then another guy turned up with a walkie-talkie, and they want to see the visa, and they're asking questions. Why are you taking photos of the synagogue? And I said, well, I haven't yet, but I will. And then he said, well, you can have a photo of the synagogue. And I said, well, I haven't yet, but I will. And then I was going to, but I've just took a photo of the cafe. So I showed him my phone, and he saw that there weren't no pictures of the synagogue on there, which seemed to please him. And then he took a photo of my passport, sent it off somewhere, had to wait for someone to reply. So I've basically just been stood there 5 minutes with two policemen, waiting to be let free, because I dared to walk down the street near a synagogue. There's no signs anywhere saying you can't film. Very, very strange. That's the first time that's happened to me anywhere in 7 months. I was reluctant to hand over my passport because I thought they'd probably try and bribe me, get some money for them to give it me back. But in the end, when they were asking to see the visa, I had to just hand it over because I couldn't find it. My passport's so full of visas, and I didn't know which one the Turkish one looked like. I was flicking through it, couldn't find it, so I just handed it over. By this point, I did actually trust them and didn't think they were going to scam me. I was having quite a good old chat with them. I didn't even know about this. Sultanate Gate, which apparently was the most important gate, the main gate of the Bursa's town walls. Ah, so I'm guessing this is the old town then, and where I'm staying is actually the new town. It looks very different up here. The old Ottoman style houses that are wider on the top than they are at the bottom. When I was reading about Bursa, it said about the old winding cobbled streets with the old Ottoman houses. And I've not seen any of that. I guess it's this part, the old town. This is Top Hane Park, which apparently offers some great views over the city. Got the clock tower here, which you can see from the new town at the bottom. I can see people stood at fencing. There's a few coffee shops and restaurants around here, places of worship. Let's go and have a look at the views over Bursa then. I mean, it's pretty foggy today. We should be able to see the city. In fact, it looks pretty impressive already. The views are pretty amazing from up here. You get a clear view of the city, but it's not too high up that you can't see anything. You can still read the signs on the shops. It's a great view. And check out there, just a little forest in the middle of the city. Got huge mountains over there, and then you can see the mosque, the Grand Mosque there. In fact, that's it there, that's the Grand Mosque. Here we have one of the original cable cars. The cable car in Bursa was the first cable car in Turkey. And it opened in 1963 and was running every single day until 2012. And in 2014 it was completely renovated, the technology and the stations and the journey itself. And now it's one of the, in fact I think it's the longest cable car in the world. It's almost 10 kilometers, and the journey from the first station to the last station takes about 40 minutes, I think. There's the old clock tower. All these views over the city are making me hungry. Let's go and get a kebab. This is quite the historic building. This was the first three-levelled building to be built in Bursa. And it's now got a restaurant on the top and traditional handcraft shops around. Let's have a walk around, see what we can find. I've got to say, the roads around here are an absolute nightmare. There's hardly anywhere for pedestrians to cross, and even when there is a pedestrian crossing, the traffic just ignores it. So you just got to basically wait for a gap and leg it across. Still here.
Some of the cars are going really fast. I'm hoping that further on down the road there is actually some kind of traffic light system that makes them stop, because I've not seen a gap for a while and they just pull out on each other at crazy speeds. This is a gap. Here we go. Well, this is something called Bursa Ulu Karsi, and I've got to go through here to get to Panoramic, which I'm presuming is something very similar to this, like an Indo bazaar. This is the place to come if you want some towels. It's so strange. The entire bazaar was just filled with shops selling towels, and it's brought me out on the Grand Mosque of Bursa. This is the Kapali Kaze, which is another one of the bazaars in this area. There's quite a lot of them, and I thought it was just this big long stretch, but it's not. There's a downstairs to it, and there's all this as well. It's actually bloody massive. It's very shiny. Oh, now this looks a bit older. It's just going to be one of them places where people are trying to get me in their shop to look at their wonderful things. This is all jewellery. Not interested in this. Around the bazaars there are many of these kebab places all selling the Bursa kebab, and I looked on Google Maps and most of them are getting like 3.1 ratings, so I didn't bother with them. I did find this place which has got a rating of 4.7. It took a while to find because I came to the address and then I had to like look inside this building. But this is the place. It's called Ulu Meydan, and this has got a 4.7 rating, so hopefully it'll be good. I've no idea how much the Bursa kebab's going to be. It should be about 50, 60 or something like that. I've not seen a menu, so they might add on a few later. So we'll see. Well, the food's come, and it looks pretty good actually, but it's definitely not a Bursa kebab, which I asked for. He did show me this. Maybe they're out of Bursa kebab. I think this is a Adana kebab. It was absolutely beautiful. This is the place, and you basically come here and it's in there. The food was actually great. It was a really nice kebab, and hidden underneath all the lettuce was this kind of paste or dip which just brought the whole meal alive. It was not too spicy, but just packed with flavour. It was really good. The whole thing together, the bread and everything was fantastic. And I was thinking, I've not seen a menu. There's no prices anywhere on the walls. How much are they going to charge me? Now, I've seen like kind of the Adana kebabs for 65, 70. I had a bottle of water as well, so I was thinking, what would I'd be happy with around about 60, 65, you know, 70. It might be even more expensive, I don't know. It was 58, and that included the drink. So, great food, honest people, lovely stuff. All around this area there were these kozas, which I presume means bazaar. This was built in 1490 to provide income to the mosque. There's 95 rooms of it, and there's actually a small mosque inside it. Let's go and take a look. Well, when I arrived in Bursa yesterday, I just walked around for about half an hour and then went straight to a bar. And I kind of got the impression it was just a city with not a great deal to
actually go and look at. But I've found a lot of stuff today. This has really opened itself up to me. It's a beautiful place. This is the small mosque in the centre. It's so busy around here. You get into the middle of it all and you just end up getting lost on all the winding streets. There's tons and tons of shops. It looks like there's a market down there. There's a mosque just in the middle. I love how they've turned this place into a huge market, because these are actually houses and buildings. And they've just used the bottom floor as a shop and covered it all up, and it's now like an indoor bazaar. This is a memorial to a woman who was born and lived and died in Bursa. When she was 3, she was diagnosed with meningitis. And when she was 13, she fell in love with a guy 5 years older than her who was also an alcoholic. And her parents refused to give their blessing. As they continued to find a cure for her illness, the doctor said that the only thing that would cure her would be if they gave her a blessing for her to be married to the older alcoholic. Unfortunately, things didn't turn out too good, and the alcoholic died too late and then took to the streets of Bursa, banging drums and playing musical instruments, and was considered crazy by the locals. Although harmless, she could also be aggressive if provoked. She died in Bursa, and this is a monument to her. Quite a sad story, really. This is an interesting area. I don't know what all this is down here. Check this out in the distance. Wow, I don't know what these people are. Hello. What the hell was that? Here we have a great view of the mountains that surround the city. You can see over there the house has gone almost right up to the top. This thing here is actually a museum with a 360-degree panorama of the old Ottoman battles of 1326, I think was the year. Now it's only in Turkish, but I think it's only 5 lira to get in, so it's worth having a nosy, I suppose. Well, I was very lucky there because the opening times were on the door, and I looked on my phone to see what day it was, and it's Wednesday, and it's free admission on Wednesday. And the security guy was really, really helpful. And wow. Oh, look at this. The cool thing about this is I wasn't actually going to come, believe it or not. And then I saw it was 5 Turkish lira, so I thought, even though it's all in Turkish, it might be worth coming to have a look at. And then I find out it's free, and it's amazing, it's brilliant. So this is all to do with the Ottoman takeover of the city in 1326. That's about as much as I know. Great, isn't it, when you come to a place that you've never even heard of before, and then you start doing some research about some of the things that you can do there, and you find places like this. We've got a GoPro. Wonderful. How cool is this? I love how we have a little girl with a GoPro on a kind of selfie stick
making videos. Probably got more subscribers than me. This is the Green Mosque that was built in 1422, and it was built entirely of stone with marble plates covering the outside walls. Just behind the Green Mosque we have the Green Tomb, which was built in 1421 for an Ottoman Sultan. I do believe you can go inside and have a look. And it appears open. So there are 9 tombs in total. Ottoman Sultan Mehmed Padisa. One thing that I've noticed about Bursa, which I didn't notice in Istanbul, is all the electric boxes appear to be painted like they were in Bulgaria. Nice Ottoman house there. You wouldn't know it, but I'm actually walking across the Iskender Bridge. Yeah, this is actually a bridge. It's one of only 4 bridges in the world that has shops on it, and this one was the first. This on our right hand side appears to be the library. Not exactly sure why I've saved it as a place to go and look at. This is what happens when you do your research about a place, especially a place like Bursa, which is not really a tourist city as such. So you kind of have a look on various blogs and they all have the same things. It's normally kind of 10 things to do in Bursa, and even with 10 they're struggling a bit. And once you've done that, then you move on to the other sites where you end up with 45 things to do in Bursa, and one of them being visit the library. But it doesn't matter, it's just an excuse to wander around the streets, and it does mean that we get to see this lovely colourful house. I've decided I want some baklava, and there's a shop just down here with apparently over 50 years experience, and they're supposed to be really good. The only problem is there's 2 guys working in the shop and they're both stood there like looking out of the window, really kind of not aggressively, but they just look a bit scary. All different pistachio ones and walnut and everything. Oh, we'll give it a go. So I bought a mix, and to be honest, I bought more than I was planning on buying. And there's more here, look. I was fearing the worst. Oh my god. Getting sidetracked by all the delicious food. I was fearing the worst. I was thinking this is going to be well expensive, because it is quite heavy, because it's just soaked in honey. And he put it all in the box. I don't know how they work it out, because when I bought some in Istanbul, they actually were, each piece was different price. So if I had 6 pieces, they would have to weigh each individual piece, which they don't mind doing. He just kind of put it all on and just typed in, you know, one number for the whole lot. And I was thinking this is going to be 130, 150, 70. And I've got a big bloody box of it. I can't show it you because it's all sealed up. I'll take a photo and I'll show you that now. I've had baklava before. I bought it from Turkish shops in Sheffield, and it's good. When I was in Istanbul, I read that you haven't tried baklava until you've had it in Istanbul. And I was like, yeah, whatever, it'll probably be exactly the same. Oh, it's not. It is so much better. It is so good. It's literally dripping in honey. It's just so good, and pistachios just, oh. Anyway, I've got a big box full to munch on later on tonight. So, yeah, happy with that. I think that's it for today's Bursa vlog. The only thing that I didn't get to do was the cable car. For a day that started off with me being held by the Turkish police, it's actually been a cool day. I really wasn't convinced I was going to find much here when I arrived yesterday, but I always know not to rely on first opinions too much, because I've actually found some great stuff in this city. I've got 2 full more days here. One of them days is going to be going to a small village just outside Bursa, not far away, about half an hour on a bus. And the other day, I guess, we'll be going on the cable car. So all there is left to do now is go and get some lovely beers.